Hello! Coming to you a little later than normal. Oh, I like that. High five. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? My name is RODGON. I happen to be a illustrator. I draw things for a living. I am an artist. I like cartooning, but I like a little bit of everything. And I am here today to teach you how to draw something cool. Because that is my job. And I like my job. So, what should we learn to draw today? We have the option of drawing absolutely anything, and it is Friday. Ooh, some Post-its. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. What do you guys want to learn to draw? So, good. How about I'm dying. I feel sick. I feel a little bit under the weather. And it doesn't help that they're doing construction in my house, so it's like loud as fuck, so I can't do my streams when I need to and stuff like that. So, yay, life. But anyways, I have a feeling that you guys are going to enjoy what I have in store for you guys today. Yesterday, I had a really awesome stream with the Agnes Garboska. Awesome comic book artist, and she has worked for like Teen Titans, and she's worked for DC and Marvel and everything. And I love drawing with her because she's so inspirational. And we were drawing different Pokemon from memory, and then we went into like different things. And I ended up drawing myself as a Sailor Scout. So I have a feeling that you guys are going to enjoy me just taking suggestions from you guys about fan art. And let's talk a little bit about fan art and why it's good, why it's bad, why you should or why you shouldn't actually do fan art. When you should stop doing fan art and when you shouldn't continue doing it for your career. There is little points in which you will want to use the popularity of another thing like Pokemon or Dragon Ball or something to be able to generate a little bit of views for your own stuff. Like, hey, look at me, I can draw a really cool character that already exists. Look at me, look at me. Essentially, that is how you're approaching it. Like, something exists that's already cool and I can do it better. That's essentially what you're doing. So it's a very useful tool to use when you are starting out and you want to, gain viewership, because you need to be validated by a certain like thing inside your brain that tells you, hey, now we can start being an artist. Look at me, I can draw like the other people can. So that is the reason why people are attracted to that. Shenron. Ooh, Shenron is like the Dragon Ball dragon, right? So let's see if we can draw Shenron. So we have a dragon's mouth, opening his mouth, and it's going to be coming from the Dragon Balls. And I believe Shenron has horns going to the side. I believe so. I'm not completely certain. I haven't watched Dragon Ball in a while. And I don't believe it's like Dragon Ball is ever about the Dragon Balls ever again. Like, Dragon Ball Super was not about the Dragon Balls. Like, Dragon Ball Z, very rarely about the Dragon Balls. Like why is it called Dragon Ball if they don't ever use the Dragon Balls anymore for anything? It's not like the main part of the actual design. Anyways. So, let's see. Have the face. Have the jaw structure. And then we have some teeth coming out. And then Shenron comes from the Dragon Balls. So he like curls around all over the place. But I drew his head too big. So we now get his body a little bit bigger now. 7 Dragon Balls. What's Dragon Ball about? Oh, Dragon Ball is awesome. It's about like this little. It's essentially the story of Superman, but related to the story of what is it like? It's the one with Son Goku is essentially like the Monkey King. So it's like Journey to the West. I think it's the. I think that's the name of the actual story. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Like I'm not completely like all that like certain. But if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. And it just that's like a representation from Akira Toriyama, which is the person that came up with Dragon Ball. And it's like a fighting anime. It's the fighting anime. Like it's literally the the initial. No, maybe not the initial one. There's other ones before that, but the one that kind of cemented that into nerdhood. I forget that if he has little hands or not. I mean, he's gonna look like Rayquaza. Tell me your wish. I don't think he looks like that though. Okay, so next one. How long did it take you to get this good? Well, I've been alive for 40 years, but I only have been doing art for about 20 of those. So about 20 years to get to where I am. Avatar. Ooh, okay. Avatar. So let's draw the avatar. Aang is fun to draw. I love drawing Aang. I used to want to cosplay him. I want to be old man Aang. Yeah, I'm the avatar. And then Appa. And see if I remember how Appa looks. Oh, what does he look like? Hold on. Oh, I am so drawing a blank right now. Oh, I'm just gonna make him into a little piggy because I can't recall what he looks like. Oh, does he have big floopy ears? I think he has big floopy ears. But now he looks like a bunny. Does he have horns? I think he has horns. No, he looks like a cow. Momo. Like Momo is like a lemur, right? Momo's like a lemur, so he has like really big ears. And he has like a little mask. But that one looks like a raccoon. Oh no! It's like sideways characters to these guys. It's like the multiverse. There you go. We'll make it into a little flying character because I can't recall what Momo looks like. My own version of Luffy. Oh man, like what does Luffy look like? Okay, this is don't judge me because I have not really watched One Piece much. Okay? Like so I'm going to assume a lot of these things. I know that he's called the Straw Hat Pirate, so he has that. I know that he has like a very animated look to his face. Like he's like really always like super happy and stuff. So let's make him smiling. Then, like, does he have a scar or is that not the perfect? Does he have a scar? I think he has a scar. Does he have a scar? Or is that like Shanks? Is that Shanks? Is that like he's like, I don't know. He's gonna have a scar now. And then he's rubbery, right? He's really rubbery. So we're gonna make him really rubbery, like incredibly rubbery, like wee. Especially after his like fifth gear, right? He's like cartoon powers or like enhanced. So he's gonna have heavily foreshortened arms. His body's all gonna be all rubber. And some shorts. And the shorts will lead up to the hips. And this is where we find the other arm. So now he's twisting all the way around. There you go. Super twisty. Oh, he has sandals, huh? I don't know, something like that. Hi, can you draw me? There you go. You're welcome. Simba, can you show how to draw fingers? Yeah, we can draw fingers. If you want to draw fingers, it's all about learning where the fingers go. Now, let's say that we have a wrist going into our palm. And our palm will always be like a little fanned out from our wrist. Okay, so regardless of how you approach it can be like circular, it could be boxes, it could be, I don't know, whatever shape you like to do, you know, like for the actual palm, whichever shape you want. If you understand that you're from the wrist up, that is how you find your thumb. From the wrist up, you find your thumb. From the wrist up, you find your thumb. Cool. So that's one. Second, draw a popsicle going to the middle of your finger, and that is your middle finger. Regardless of whatever styling you choose, that is going to be essentially your knuckle. Okay? To the thumb side, we have one more finger that touches the edge. One more finger that touches the edge of our hand. Towards the other side, we have two more fingers. One that touches the edge and one that doesn't. so they tend to overlap a little bit. Draw the same fingers for each one. As you get better about placing these elements from the wrist up, circle, thumb. Middle, popsicle. Lollipop gives me the knuckle. The knuckle to the thumb side, I have one more. To my pinky side, I have two more. Sometimes they overlap each other, and that's fine. Work your way back from the front to the back. So if this one's going to overlap a little bit, you draw this one first, and then you draw the next one, and then you draw the next one, and then you draw the next one. Eventually, you are drawing through your shapes, and you still have to know where those end up. But it's not something you have to draw out every single time. Your thumb has flexibility. Your thumb can move. Your fingers have flexibility. Your fingers can move. That's why it's important to understand the base of where they come from, as opposed to trying to draw all these weird patterns and shapes that you guys don't need to know. As long as I understand that the connection with my wrist, up, I have my thumb, I can draw that thumb in different directions. If I know where my thumb starts and where it ends, I can draw it in any way I feel I want. As long as I understand the concept of drawing cylinders in space, I can connect that from a circle anywhere I want, right? So now that I have any hand, I find my wrist. From my wrist up, I have my thumb hole, and then I can draw my thumb from there. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? Once you understand that, the thumb becomes a little bit easier because the thumb just becomes essentially a beanbag. Boop, doo, boop, boop. Coming out of a hole that connects to the wrist. So don't see it as an individual part. It's the wrist connection that allows you to understand where your actual thumb is going to go, regardless of your hand positioning. Okay? Regardless of how you position it, top, bottom, left, right, whatever, the thumb is going to fall into the same place. So you have your hand, you have your wrist. It's going to be roughly the same size. Draw a circle so your wrist is like an oval. And then from there, draw your hole for your thumb. That is how you find your thumb. Your index, or the first finger, is going to be touching this side. Your pinky is going to be the other side of your hand. So if you identify this side and this side, all you got to do is find two more in the middle. Ta-da! That's another way that you can do it. So you can approach hands in a bunch of different ways. But the whole concept of understanding where those body parts come from is what's going to allow you to be able to draw hands in a bunch of different cool positions and not have to fall prey to drawing the same hand for everything. So again, this is the way I teach things. When someone's learning from me, this is how I teach it, because hands are too flexible to be put into a box. Like your hand in itself, right? Yeah, it might have like a little blocky shape, but this can be folded like a taco. This could be folded and open like your hand has so many different variations that you can draw a hand pretty much from anything you have, as long as you understand where those points come from. Right? You can play around to see how far you can take these things and just come up with hand shapes and knuckles and see if you can make that into a hand. And odds are, since you now know the parts that go into the body, you'll be able to do that much easier. So it's going to come to the point where you're just going to identify the index, the pinky, and the thumb, and you're going to be able to draw your hands like that. From the top or the bottom. So that's something cool for you guys to play around with. How do you draw hair? You draw hair by putting it at the top of your head. At the top of your head, the top third of your head, you have your hairline, your forehead, and then your eyebrows and your eyes and stuff like that go in here. The second part. Your mouth and your chin go in the bottom, and your hairline and your forehead go in this first one. So your hairline goes around your head down to your ears and then around your skull to the back of your neck. If you understand where the hairline falls within your head structure, kind of like a cap or a beanie, if you understand this, then all you need to do is build volume up from there. As long as you're connecting it to the front and to the back, you can draw anything on the top and have it be hair. It could be ponytails, it could be little pigtails, it could be hair falling down, right? Anything that you go and you connect back to your hairline is going to look like hair. Now, the trick is understanding that the hairline doesn't extend way beyond the actual head space. So if you have your head, this is the skull. This is your head bone. This is the bone, okay? Your hair, unless it's really frizzy, like really curly hair, you're not going to have much volume that poofs it up much. It's only going to go a little bit because hair's not really all that thick. So your hair doesn't really protrude very much from your skull. So learning how to draw your skull is very crucial. Learning how and where to leave the spacing enough for the rest of your features is very important. And it's not necessarily just like a single rule. Like that's why I like to do the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds indicates that if my face is divided, any shape that I choose for a head, if I divide it into three, this middle part's going to be my nose, my eyebrows, and my eyes, and my ears. That all is going to be in that second section. Okay, that's a lot of stuff, right? That's why I like to call that one the feature zone. The mouth and the chin and the jaw fall in the second part, in the third part, sorry. And then your hairline and your forehead fall within that third one. So if you learn how to identify that third one, you're going to have access to that hairline. And then your hair grows from there. And a lot of times kind of like grass, like foliage. The longer the hair, the more volume it ends up having. The longer it gets, it starts going up and then falling down. It goes up and then down because it's growing up from a root, right? Eventually, it starts getting so long that it becomes kind of like vines. In those vines, if you just replicate that vine and connect it like a cylinder from the bottom, you end up getting hair. Because hair is just a shape that goes around your character. So that is essentially what hair is. It's going around. And that is the hardest part for people to normally get and understand. All right, so we will continue our lesson when we get to 16,000 likes. When we get to 16K, we will begin our lesson once again. Until then, I'm gonna draw cool things from my memory. Woohoo! We're gonna draw some Pokemon. Okay, we gotta finish the Hunter because we did a Ghastly, we did a Gengar, and we started doing a Haunter, but we didn't really quite finish them. So we gotta finish the Haunter. Could you draw Charizard? Yeah, I think I could draw Charizard. We're gonna do fan art today. We just went into another little lesson though. Yeah, like I do that a lot. I get distracted and then I want to draw things and then I teach things and then I go back to it and it ends up working out at the end. It ends up coming out quite cool. And he has little hands. There you go. All right, Hunter. Could you draw Grookey? Which one's Grookey? I only know the first like 150. Wait, did you say any sites or racks for animals anatomy? I want to cry. You want to draw a rabbit? So bunnies. Bunnies are cute. Bunnies are kind of like little puffballs, right? They have little tiny noses and they have little dot eyes. If you separate the little heads, then you can draw them all like chunky and stuff. Or you can taper them down and draw them a little bit less ploofy. But I like my rabbits chunky. They have to have chunk. Could you draw Mr. Clean? Okay, Mr. Clean. He's just a bald dude, isn't he? Like a bald, strong dude. In like a white t-shirt. I still think that Mr. Clean inspired that porn star Johnny Sins. And he has like gotten a generation of women to love bald people. So I am so happy for that because I'm bald. So go, Mr. Clean. And then he has like a shiny head all the time, like ta-da. And he's buff. Like Mr. Clean is dude, like that guy's like buff as hell. Like all he does is scrub, scrub, scrub. He's Mr. Steal Your Woman, dude. Like you have no idea. Like if he comes through, he's gonna clean more than just your sink, if you know what I mean. He's Mr. Clean Your Girl. Mr. Clean Your Girl. Could you draw Gojo? I don't know who Gojo is. So you're going to have to remember that I'm a 40-year-old dude that has very little time to watch new anime. So if you guys want me to draw anime characters, it's going to have to be like some really well-known ones. Ooh, anything Final Fantasy. Yeah. Oh, how about we draw a Moogle or a Chocobo? That'd be cool. All right, let's see. Okay, first of all, we got to draw BB, right? So BB is like the coolest little thing from Final Fantasy, and it's one of those little mages. So the little mages are really cute. They tend to have like a big hat, and they have like a nice little black, like blobby of a face. So that's why I like these guys. Then they have the little robes that go around them. And they're normally magic wielders. So I'm going to give them a staff. and some magic. There you go. Can you draw Sans the Skeleton? I don't know who Sans the Skeleton is. Can you draw how to draw cats? Okay, a cat. So cats are fun because cats come in a bunch of different shapes, right? Like you can have really chunky cats. And you can have like little tiny like, let's draw the cat with like angled eyes. And then you have really skinny ones. So again, it's kind of like you need to use reference to be able to understand how each of these species of cats is going to like work. Because there's so many different variations of them. Kind of like dogs. Like dogs come in a bunch of different variations, and it's just like through reference and stuff like that that we're able to actually, like there's some kitties that only have like little tiny nubbies. Like I love those little potato cats. They look so cute. I think that's the only type of cat that I would have. Little potato cats. Will your hand video be saved on YouTube? Yeah, was that yesterday or was that the day before? Like, I don't know. Like, this whole week has gone, like, by in a flash, honestly. Like, this whole week has been, like, kind of a blur to me. I don't know. I have a feeling I'm a very depressed person. Like, I have a feeling that, like, I don't really acknowledge the fact that I'm really sad until it's extreme. And since I'm literally constantly just my only self source of like reassurance, I don't really detect that I'm like in a bad state until it's too late sometimes. So I don't know. I have a feeling that I've just been really, really, really sad because there's been like a week or so that I haven't really cared to even get out of bed unless I have to stream. It's really weird. I don't know. Yeah, and also the fact that I almost died on like Monday. Yeah, that was not fun. That was really, really not fun. So since then, I've been eating like shit. I haven't been sleeping well. It's been, yeah, going out and riding a motorcycle in the storm was the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. That was the stupidest, dumbest, and most reckless thing. And I have done a lot of things in my life. I've done a lot of dumb things, but that was probably the stupidest decision I have ever made in my life. Now, I genuinely was like borderline close to dying 2 times in the span of 30 minutes because I decided to go play pool in the storm. Because I'm dumb and I don't really value my life. That's literally it. Like, I've talked about this with my therapist a lot, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Rod, this guy right here, he ain't a Southern Scout. This is me, Rod. I have a problem when it comes down to not experiencing life like a lot of people do. So I suffer from something that I don't really understand because I don't really go to doctors. But if I don't feel like I'm risking something, I don't feel like I'm doing anything worth it. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what that name of that would be. I'm not a doctor. I've been to very little like therapy. Like I've only been to like a year of therapy and I haven't even touched on that thing yet. But there was a good time of my life that the only real way that I felt fulfilled is if at the end of the day, something scared the living shit out of me, right? If I didn't feel the fear of dying, like I would not feel completely fulfilled. And that was normally fulfilled by riding a motorcycle or mountain bikes or skateboards or, like downhill skating and like breaking bones and shit like that. And then it became things like jujitsu and boxing and kickboxing. But then I got old and then I couldn't do that anymore. And then it became CrossFit and I became working out. Just different ways to actually push myself like that. And eventually I have come to the conclusion that I don't really, I don't know, like people have started to like really look at me a different way because I don't really care. And when people talk to me about that, it's kind of sad for them, not for me, because I'm perfectly aware of the mortality of people and stuff. But when you start talking about stuff like that with other people, and you can't really like put your point of view because of their emotional state, you just stop really talking to people about this stuff, right? You stop talking about people because they just don't care to understand. They just want to save you from that way of thinking, I guess. And it just becomes really difficult to actually pursue. Hold on. Yeah, so that is something that a lot of people like, that are introverts, kind of like me. Like, we go through that a lot. Like, we just kind of like bottle things in. Like, we don't want to be a bother to anybody, and at the same time, we're not really in trouble, right? Like, I'm not really struggling per se. I'm just really sad sometimes. So when people see that you don't really need help or you're struggling, but you still hold yourself together, you just stop becoming people's concern. And then eventually you just kind of fall off the radar. Nobody assumes you're an issue or a problem anymore. And then that's where you fall off the edge. So it's really good to have an outlet. For me, it just happens to be the stream, right? Whenever things get overwhelming, I just hop on here and I talk it out. And I'm talking to myself. Most of the time it's like, yeah, I take you guys' consideration, but it's kind of like me talking to me. And like kind of like trying to make sense of things by just vocalizing them. So it's something that's helpful to people if, just feeling like someone's listening, even if it's just you. And you're tricking your way into doing so by hopping in front of a camera every day. Help is help, even if it's just self-help. That face is a little weird. What is weird about it? Is it because there's not enough space in the back? Yep, that's it. There was not enough space going to the back. Make a note of it. All right. I'm listening. Verbalizing always, yeah. I mean, it helps. No, that's why I'm doing it. And that's why I normally do it on stream, because it's technically you guys are kind of like anonymous, right? I don't really know pretty much anybody here, maybe except for like a handful of you that have taken the time to actually like get to know me. But I have 300,000 people here, right? 300,000 people can't all be concerned with your life. And I wouldn't want you guys to be. So a lot of the times you guys get a lot really worried. And it's been something that I've had to handle like over the last 6-7 years that I've become like a little public figure. Handling the emotional state of other people based on your own emotional state, aka whenever I'm sad or I'm angry and I post something about it, I have to now deal with how other people feel about how I feel. And that's so incredibly tough and draining sometimes. Because Sometimes I don't even have the energy to be able to maintain my own emotions, much less have to deal with other people's emotions when I post about my emotions. How do you draw a goat? Well, you draw a mustache and you give him a big nose and then you give him glasses. And then you got to make sure you draw him bald because, you know, that's the only way the goat looks. Give him some real square glasses, some ears, and a little shiny head. And you have drawn a goat. Yeah. I can see the thumb shape again. Can I? Yeah. The thumb shape is kind of like a beanbag. So your thumb is going to come from the connecting point with your wrist, and it's going to go up from there. So you draw a little circle from your wrist. That is where your thumb connects to. So from there, your thumb is divided into three parts. It's going to be your base. That is it's going to end up looking kind of like a stick for like a manual car, like the stick, like shifts. So you're going to have the base, the bone, and the tip. So the base, the bone, and the tip. And if you divide that into three, it tends to normally give you about like a fourth of your palm, which gives you your little muscles for your palm. You have your index and your pinky. And then you have your thumb muscle and your pinky muscle. Ta-da. Can you do a female body tutorial, please? Okay, so the women and men don't really have different bodies. A lot of the things that you guys see in relation to a male or a female body tends to be mostly related to the hip bones. If you take hip bones that are normal and aligned with your wrist, with your rib cage, you end up with a situation where the character has just very basic, no curvature or lines to them, right? The rib cage falls down and it just gives you this normal, general, like ambiguous shape. Now, if you want to create something with more woman features, make these hip bones wider. So you make those wider. If you make them wider, then you start getting a natural curvature to your look. It just happens naturally. We left the ribcage the same size. We just made these a little bit wider. And by keeping those same connecting points, the character looks like it has much wider hips. Now, it doesn't have to be as wide as that, but it's going to give you that little hourglass shape that you want from your characters. So that is essentially what's happening. Your rib cage is going up like an egg, and then your collarbone is what's giving that upper part of your. And that's how you get that hourglass. And if you make it into a different type of hourglass, it's even easier. If you make it into the top shape like this, and then the bottom shape like a diamond, right? Then you can just add a circle, connect, and you have yourself hip bones, you have yourself collarbone, and you have yourself space for your arms. And guess what? Also your head. So if you learn how to do that, then it's very easy. And then you can fill it out by drawing a little heart, going around that circle, and then you have boobs. Ta-da! It's all about learning the flow of the body parts. And if you learn how those body parts flow, it's going to be a lot easier for you. And I teach it in a bunch of different ways. Like I teach it in like the sushis. Sushis are very easy. Like sushis are very, very easy to learn to draw. And they're very, very cool, very fun. How to draw a macaw. What's a macaw? Is a macaw the ones that have like... Is that the ones that have that? Is that what a macaw is? Can't recall. There you go. So, okay, so let's recap hands. Hands, okay? Check it out, check it out. Hands are whatever shape you choose for your hand. Normally it's gonna be like a little box or a square or a circle. One side is gonna have your pinky, so therefore it's gonna come out from that side, right? And then it's gonna have thickness. So you draw edge, and then you draw a little bit in. Then you're gonna have your index. It's gonna have volume, and then it's gonna have volume inside. So you start with the edge, and then you draw your volume inside. Whatever thickness you drew these guys for, you're gonna replicate that 2 more times. That is gonna give you the other fingers. And then from your wrist up, a circle to draw yourself your thumb. Okay? So now you're gonna learn to do it like that, but you're gonna change the direction of the fingers. Right? Maybe the finger goes this way now. And we're gonna have our thumb over here, so it's gonna be different. And you're going to just master doing this in every single position you can do it, so that you can get used to drawing your hands in all these sorts of shapes. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Ooh. Are you talking about me? Are you talking about me? I would love to know why you think so. Oh, please do share, please. I'm always one for discourse. Oh, did you run away? Did you run away? No. Everybody should go check out his artwork and let him know what he think about it. Yeah, you know, like he wants to be the critic of someone that's just teaching freely. Hey, we should all give him some advice. Draw these female again for me. Please, first of all. Second of all, maybe. I'll draw another Sailor Scout. How about that? Yeah, people are rude. People are dumb. It's okay. I don't hold their dumb stupidity at their... it's not their fault. They probably just weren't in love when they were little. It's okay. Love the character of old Wolverine. Oh, the Mimikyu? The Mimikyu is cute. One day I will be known for drawing amazing pinups that everybody's like, oh my god, I want the RODGON original. One day. Let's see. And Sailor Scouts have a tiara. I always like Sailor Jupiter. I like the brunette. And she was also like the one that always looked like tough. Like she was like, she could beat you up. That's why I bought your book bundle. Oh, thank you. Oh, the Scooby-Doo pinups were fun. The original one, the Velma, was originally a Phil Tomato concept that he posted. And I fell in love with the idea of drawing Velma all sexy and cute. Like, that was just like like, I love the character of Velma. Like, I love nerdy girls. Like, I just do. Like, smart nerdy girls are like my thing. I love them. Because then I can geek out with them, you know? Like I love like women that like anime and like cartoons, and then they like just going out to like skate and do paintball and whatever, like anything like that. That's always fun. And unfortunately, I've never really met many people that like share that much in common with me. They share like one element or other with me. Like they'll share like the passion for art, or they'll share like the passion for sports or fitness or whatever. But they won't share much more than that. And it's like, I don't know. I kind of want somebody that's just going to be down to like to do the things I like for once. Pin-up tutorial, huh? We'll have to make a whole video for that. Because pinups are essentially really cute female characters, but those female characters can be in any shape, size, and form. So if you like your bigger girls, you can draw your girls a little thicker. You can draw your girls a little bit. You can also draw guys doing this stuff too. You know, so if you want to draw like a big sexy dude, you can also do that. It doesn't have to always just be women. Normally, it's a categorization that's normally predominated by the drawing of women, but it doesn't mean that you can't draw sexy male pinups too. Oops. Mustache. There you go. Can you draw dragons? Yeah, we can draw a dragon. Dragons are fun. I have come to the realization that dragons are just one of the easiest things to draw, because all you have to do is draw a triangle for the head and then a swirly for a body. And if you can do that, you can draw dragons relatively easy. This all gets a lot easier when you learn how to draw with volume. And like the way that I teach you guys how to draw is essentially that. Like I teach you guys just the initial stages of how I see things. And that tends to be what allows you to be able to see things like that really easy. So, dragons are fun. They resemble birds a lot, by the way. Like, they resemble birds with really big like jaws. Like I love drawing them for like mascots. I love drawing them for fun, like evil. I like drawing them for, like logos. Like dinosaurs are just fun, and like what is a dragon? It's just a dinosaur with wings. So yeah, that's one of the big like pluses from my life. I love drawing dragons and stuff like that. I love drawing animals. I just love drawing things in general. Can you draw a dinosaur? Let's see, what do we have? What dinosaur do we want to draw? Do we want to draw like a T-Rex? So a T-Rex would be something along, well, it's like a velociraptor, I guess. Yeah, they resembled birds a lot. So let's see, something like a brontosaurus or something like that. A brachiosaurus would be like their heads coming forward, their necks, and then super long tails to balance out their bodies. Really big thighs to be able to maintain that weight. And really big back, reverse leggies because of the weight again and the structure that's needed for them to walk. So most animals that are like bigger than a certain amount of weight or size tend to have legs that are a certain way, like horses and like everything like that. They have reverse engineered legs because of the way they move, right? Instead of having our legs bending like this, they have this, which is kind of like us bending our leg and getting on our tippy toes. That's essentially what that is. Can we add a Charmander to your Pokemon group? Yeah, let's throw a Charmander in there. So, Charmander, the lizard Pokemon. There you go. There you go. You have a Charmander. That Gengar is wicked. Yeah, he looks kind of cool. I like the Ghastly though. And Snorlax is my favorite. Snorlax is just my dude. That's my spirit animal, my spirit Pokemon. Screenshot taken. Woohoo! All right, so let's see. We have a little bit of space left. What do you guys want to learn for the last maybe like 10 minutes of our stream? Can you draw yourself if you're cool with it? Yeah, I drew myself a couple times. I drew myself right here. I drew myself right here. That's me. So here, you guys got a face meet. I got to get used to doing this a little bit more often. Hi, everybody. My name is RODGON. I am your teacher, and my beanie's on. Cook it. So as you guys can see, I'm bald too. So I draw myself bald all the time. I draw myself with my curly mustache. Boom, boom. Anyways, let's flip it around so you guys don't get scared. How do you stop using references as a crutch? You don't, because it's not a crutch. References are not detrimental to your workflow. Like, what the hell? Like, okay, first of all, you got to stop seeing references as a negative. If you have access to references, that's a really cool positive in your life. That means that you have resources to be able to use. So why the hell would you not use them, right? There is a certain stigma in your ego. You got to put your ego in check, okay? If you don't know how to draw hands, you need references. If you do not know how to draw hands, you need references. If you don't know how to draw feet, you need references. If you don't know how to draw animals, answer please. I need the answer. I'm waiting. We can be here all... There you go. You need references. So, references are not something to be scared of. They're not something to run away from. They're not something that you have to constantly think that you have to disengage from using. References are beautiful. References allow you to get to the point quicker and be able to do things much more efficiently. So if you constantly see you having references as a negative, and the only way you're going to validate your way of drawing is by drawing from memory, well, then you better draw a lot of stuff first until you have that memory bank completely filled. And then and only then attempt to draw things. Which again is still using references. So at the end of the day, you're not going to get away from it. It's just a generic, like a dollar store one. Like it's not anything special. Like I don't use anything super expensive or anything because I don't like people thinking that that's what they need to do. When it comes to anatomy, you can also use your own body. Yeah. Yeah, no. I highly, highly recommend that people learn to work out and they learn to work out in front of a mirror. Like if you learn to work out in front of a mirror, you're going to see angles and body parts and flow lines that other people require more reference for. But if you're constantly just looking at the mirror while you're working out, while you feel your muscles, while you feel all that stuff happening, well, eventually you get better at being able to identify things like back muscles, front muscles, poses, all that stuff becomes a lot easier if you take the time to actually observe how your body's shaped. You don't have to be in top physical persona either. Pay attention to how your arms flow, how your legs flow down, the edges, the contours. All that stuff is more important than understanding how every single one of your body parts is detailed to the microfiber. How to draw exaggerated proportions that still feel normal and good. Okay. So exaggerating portions of a character is going to come from understanding your base form. Right? If you have a base form of your character, if you want to add volume to this, you're going to take the same mannequin, but you're going to increase the volume inside by changing those shapes a little bit. And if you want them skinnier, you do the same thing, but you go skinnier. So it's once you understand that base form, everything else is just a matter of understanding how to squash and stretch it. So it's just variations of those same shapes that are going to give you the ability to play around with different body proportions, different sizes, different body types, and stuff like that. So we have time for one more drawing. Woohoo! One more. So let's make it a good one. What do you guys want to learn? Come with me and you'll see how to draw from your imagination. Oh, if only copyright infringement wasn't a thing. Have you discussed mouths lately? No, but mouths are really easy. I'm going to show it to you in 2 lines, okay? Curvy line 1, curvy line number 2 intersecting, negative space. Okay? If you do that, you have simple mouths. If you add lines and volume up from there, you have yourself a lip. And if you give yourself volume here, you have yourself a bottom lip. So now that you determine it's 2 different lines, you go 1 line, 2 lines, draw a negative space, and then if I want lips, I can build the lips up from there. So that is something that you can do to draw mouths a little easier. Curvy line number 1, curvy line number 2, overlap the top line, create volume. And you can draw mouths that are open. Mouths that are closed, mouths that are semi. But just changing the sign of that line. So 2 lines. When should we use the negative space? Wherever you, okay. So the negative space is the area around your teeth, right? So if you draw your mouth in a 3/4 view, you're gonna have a little bit of space right here because your teeth are gonna have a little bit of a gap right there. So the negative space comes down to the area of your mouth. If these are your teeth, when you open your mouth, you're going to have space on the side of each teeth. And that is the negative space I speak about. So whenever you're drawing a hand or head or whatever, if you learn to identify that triangle and you draw a line straight down, that's going to be your teeth line. And then you can draw your mouth around it. See what I mean? So that's something that you guys can keep in mind whenever you guys are drawing your teeth. Triangle down, even in a profile view. Go around your teeth. Around. Cool. Anyways, hope you guys had a good time. I did. Hope you guys learned a little bit. I did. And I hope that you guys enjoyed me drawing some fan art for the first time in a long time. So you guys got to see some Pokemon. You guys got to see a little bit of Avatar. You guys got to see some dinosaurs. You guys got to see some Final Fantasy characters, some kitties, Sailor Scouts, Wolverine, and all that stuff was done yesterday throughout our stream with Agnes. And yeah, so it was awesome. What a nice little way to spend our day. We have about like 6, 7 pages left in our sketchbook, and I already ordered my next one. The next one's going to be really cool because I'm going to incorporate tan paper, and we're going to be using tan paper to add color and use markers. So we're going to be using actual markers in the next one. So that's going to be really, really fun, and we're going to play with style, right? We're literally just going to make things cool at this point. I think we have gone to the point with our studies where we can actually apply this to cool stylization. So it's going to be broken down like this. After we're done with the sketchbook, we're just going to start drawing cool shit that we are going to need for conventions. We're going to need things that are themed. So we're going to need like things like Pokemon and Street Fighter and stuff like that is popular. So we're going to have to do that for conventions. So we're going to make prints out of all the cool popular things that we've done so far, stickers and all that stuff. And we're going to gear ourselves to being an author that travels to conventions and sells his books. So I can meet a lot of you guys. That's what I want. I'm going to gear my career so that in 2024, 2025, I am constantly traveling and meeting a lot of you guys and hopefully be able to visit art school so that I can give little speeches. And I'm talking to the people at Lightbox Expo so that I can maybe get a booth or at the very latest, like be able to do demos for people while they're there. So I can do like demos throughout like, the whole convention time or whatever, and then just teach everybody if I can. But that is something that is going to be up to them. They told me to contact them in March, so I'll contact them in March right away and figure that out. Have a lovely day, everybody. Take care. If you guys learned anything, please make sure to go check out my resources. I have free coloring books. I have it's not free. The other one's not free. But you guys can go check out all the stuff on YouTube. That's free. And over 400 videos that you guys can go check out any given time if you guys want to learn something new. You guys awesome? Take care. Have a happy Friday. And if you guys go out drinking, make sure to be safe. We want to see you guys here again tomorrow. Okay? Take care.